$50,000. It lands in your account on a Wednesday afternoon. No warning, no email, no relative you forgot about who passed away and left you something. It just appears. The sender line says, escrow transfer, final distribution. You don't have an escrow. You don't have a distribution. You call the bank. The representative pauses for 17 seconds. She says the transaction is verified and cleared. She says it belongs to you. She says, is there anything else I can help you with today? You hang up. The balance is still there. $50,000. You are 31 years old. You have $4,200 in credit card debt. Your savings account holds $810. Your rent is due in 11 days. Your car has a noise you've been ignoring. And now you have $50,000. You feel weightless. You feel terror. You feel like a video game character who just picked up a power-up that might also be a bomb. Then the email arrives. Subject line, the condition. You almost delete it. It looks like spam. It is not spam. It is 3 sentences long. This transfer is governed by a simple agreement for future conduct. You may not spend any portion of this sum on yourself. Not 1 penny. Not directly. Not indirectly. Full terms attached. You read the attachment. You read it twice. The terms are unambiguous. You cannot buy anything that primarily benefits you. No debt payments. No investments in your own name. No groceries. No rent. No medical bills. No gifts that circle back to you. The money must leave your life in a way that does not return. You must give it away, spend it on others, or deploy it into something that does not enrich you personally. The document does not explain why. It does not tell you who sent it. It just states the rule. The rule is the entire point. You sit on your couch, the one with the stain from the coffee you spilled in February. The $50,000 glows on your phone screen, like a door you cannot walk through. And then your brain starts doing the thing that brains do. It starts building paths. The first path is resentment. You think this is cruel. You think this is some kind of psychological experiment being conducted on you without your consent. You think about fighting it, but the attachment includes a clause. If you violate the rule, the full sum is recalled immediately, with interest calculated at the federal funds rate plus 3%. And you read that clause again, and the thing you feel is not fear. It is something else. You feel a quiet, uncomfortable ripple of respect. Whoever designed this rule is not stupid, and something about that makes you curious instead of angry. You decide to follow it, not because you are virtuous, because the rule is the most interesting thing that has happened to you all year. Your first move is wrong. It is wrong within 4 hours. You transfer $10,000 to your sister. She has student loans. She has a kid. She needs it. This is clearly allowed. It is not for you, but the transfer sits in your pending transactions for 2 days. And you look at her name next to that number, and you feel something you did not expect. You feel ownership. You gave it. It is hers now. But the act of giving it gave you something, a tiny piece of identity, the generous sibling, the capable one, the one who sends $10,000, and the realization hits you in the kitchen at 11:14 at night. You made that about you. You didn't mean to. But the story you were already writing in your head was a story with you at the center. And the rule says nothing about you at the center. The rule says the opposite. So you start again. You freeze the money. Every dollar of it stays in the account for 19 days. You wake up every morning and look at it, not as a tool, as a text. You are trying to read it. Your sister asks about the transfer. You tell her to ignore it. It was a mistake. She thinks you are being weird. You are being weird. You are trying to figure out what a dollar is when it is not allowed to love you back. This is the first rule. Money sent away can still buy identity. And identity is a thing you own. So, the first discipline is not avoiding selfish purchases. It is avoiding selfish stories. You start looking at people, not at their needs, at the structures around their needs. Your neighbor Marcus runs a small auto repair shop 3 blocks away. He is 48. His shop has 5 reviews on Google Maps. 3 of them mention the waiting room chairs are broken. You walk over on a Tuesday afternoon. You ask him how much it would cost to replace the chairs and add a shelf of kids' books and repaint the wall behind the counter. He looks at you like you are selling something. You are not selling something. You are trying to learn how to spend money that cannot spend you. He gives you a number, $1,200. You pay it. You do not tell him your name. You do not take a photo. The money leaves and you feel nothing. Not generosity, not pride, nothing. And the nothing is the win. The first time, the money moved, and you did not move with it. This becomes your method. You build a mental framework. Every transaction is asked 3 questions. Does this solve a problem that exists independent of me? Does this require me to disappear from the outcome? Will I forget I did this within 90 days? If the answer to all 3 is yes, you proceed. If not, you stop. This is the second rule. The only giving that counts is giving you do not remember. You start mapping the invisible architecture of other people's financial lives. You spend 6 days researching local eviction records. It is public data. Anyone can see it. Almost nobody does. You find 43 families in your county who are facing eviction for amounts under $800. $800 is not a big number in the world where you now operate. It is a door that opens or closes. You pay rental arrears for 14 of them. The total is $9,400. Disappears. You do not call them. You do not leave a note. The transaction is between you and the court system. You are a person who moves money from one column to another and then walks away. The third rule: the best money is money that becomes invisible to the human who needed it. The $50,000 is at $28,000 now. You have spent almost half of it. You have nothing to show for it, and you have never felt richer. Not in the wallet way, in a different way. You are starting to understand a thing about capital that you could not have understood when you were the intended beneficiary of every dollar you earned. The money you give away changes other people's balance sheets, and it changes yours too. Not your assets, your perception. You are no longer a person who needs money. You are a person who moves money. The distinction is small on paper and enormous in the body. You walk differently. You talk to your boss differently. You are not arrogant. You are just less afraid. And the less afraid is worth more than the $50,000 itself. A thought experiment that would have repulsed you 6 months ago now feels like Tuesday. If you had to lose every dollar in your personal account tomorrow, would it actually change what you can do? The answer now is maybe not, because your ability to move money was never tied to the money you owned. It was tied to how you saw it. This is the fourth rule. Capital is not a store of value. It is a lens. The value is in what the lens lets you see that other people cannot. You take the remaining $22,000 and you test the edge of the rule. The rule says you cannot spend it on yourself. It does not say you cannot build a machine. You create a tiny scholarship, not a foundation, a spreadsheet. You contact a community college 40 miles away. You ask them for a list of students with unpaid balances under $1,000 that are blocking their enrollment for next semester. They send you 17 names. You clear every single one. The total is $14,600. You do not name the scholarship. The students will never know where it came from, but one of them will become an accountant. One will open a bakery. One will teach high school physics, and none of them will ever thank you. That is exactly how you want it. The account now holds $7,400. It is a Tuesday. Again, the same kind of Tuesday. You sit on the same couch. The stain is still there. The phone is in your hand. The balance is smaller than it was. You feel something you have only felt a handful of times in your life. You feel full. Not full of pride, full of data, full of evidence that the person you were when you received $50,000 is not the person you are now. The old person needed the money to change their circumstances. The new person does not need the money at all, and the irony is a physical weight in your chest. The money changed you precisely because you were prohibited from using it. The rule was not a restriction. It was a mirror. You spend the final $7,400 on a single thing. Your friend Devin, he works at a logistics company. He has wanted to quit for 4 years. He has a plan. He has a small business idea. He has a spreadsheet that he has never shown anyone because he is afraid it looks foolish. You make him show it to you. It is not foolish. It is better than most businesses that have funding. You wire him the money with a condition of your own. He must repay it. Not to you, to someone else. In 5 years, when he crosses $100,000 in revenue, he must give $7,400 to a stranger who has the same look in their eyes that he had in his eyes. When you asked him to show you the spreadsheet, he agrees in a text message that is just the word yes, followed by 4 exclamation points. You have never seen him use exclamation points. The money leaves your account. The balance is $0.12. The 12 cents is interest. You leave it there. 6 months later, you get an email from a stranger. The subject line is, "I don't know you, but I needed $800 last month. and it appeared. You do not reply. You forward it to Devin. Devin does not reply either. The chain stops there. That is the point. The machine runs without you. The fifth rule: a financial instrument is not something you own. It is something you set in motion that moves capital toward problems long after you have forgotten you existed. You are 32 now. Your salary is $58,000. Your credit card debt is zero. Not because you paid it off with the $50,000. Because you stopped spending, not from discipline, from something quieter. You stopped needing things to confirm that you exist. The money you used to spend on yourself now feels like a sentence you don't need to finish. You open a brokerage account 6 months after the balance hits zero. You invest $300 into an index fund, then $300 more, then $400. It is not much. It is exactly enough because you now understand what an account like this is for. It is not for security, not primarily. It is for capacity. The more you have, the more you can move, and the more you can move, the less anyone's circumstances are a permanent condition. The $50,000 is gone. It has been gone for over a year. It bought you nothing. It paid nothing. It cleared none of your bills. And it was the most profitable financial event of your life. Not because of what it did for your net worth, because it rewired the thing that net worth was supposed to measure. You used to think wealth was a number that went up. Now, you know, wealth is the distance between a problem and your ability to solve it without anyone knowing you were there. And that distance shrinks not when your bank account grows. It shrinks when you stop confusing yourself with your balance. The balance is $0.12. It always was. The number was never the point.